Let's talk about some issues as it relates to animal handling and safety. Animal research is a large one. We have made huge advancements in medicine and nutrition because of animal research. We've got better practices for animal care and management now, which means we try and take care of these animals that are used in the research better. And we've got human life-saving technology because of this research. We have to weigh that with the quality of life that these animals have, along with the unnecessary suffering that happens with them. Antibiotics and growth hormones are huge in the media. We have faster and more efficient production and decreased illness. However, people are concerned about having hormone and antibiotic residue in their meat. And then they're also concerned about what kind of life it is that we have animals that are on antibiotics their entire life. Genetic modifications have allowed us to make faster genetic improvement over time. And we've done this by cloning, which is taking something maybe as small as a hole punch from an ear of an animal and creating an exact clone of that animal. Keep in mind this is incredibly expensive. It's probably going to cost $40,000 to clone a bull. We also have embryo transfer, where we take fertilized embryos from a cow, and we have given her shots to super ovulate, which means instead of having one egg, she has several. And then we take those embryos and put them in what we call recip cows. That way we can get maybe as many as 18 offspring from a cow in 1 year versus one, the traditional method. We also have artificial insemination that we can use to get the very best genetics available to reproduce our animals with. We can use semen from a bull in California if we want to, and our cow be here in Ohio. And while this all sounds well and good, people are saying, you're playing God. That's a bad thing. We also lose some genetic diversity, which basically means we're using more and more of the good animals and fewer animals, which means we have a smaller gene pool to pull from. So that's one of the negatives. As we go ahead and look at the next issue, it's confinement operations. We can produce a tremendous amount of livestock on a very small amount of land, and so it requires less land, and we can control the environment. However, on the minus, people see this as overcrowding. That's bad. People don't like that. And then also the general animal health and well-being is detrimental. So my people example of this is everybody's healthy when you're at home, and then you go off to school and you're in a building all day with a whole bunch of people, and all of a sudden you drag home all these germs and you're sick and your whole family's sick. The same thing happens with livestock. Manure and odor provides nutrients and fertilizer for our plants, which is great. However, the public does not like to smell the manure. And we also have to be really, really careful about how we handle this to make sure that we don't have any stream and groundwater contamination that happens from this manure. Meat consumption and animal byproducts. We have a great source of protein from all these animals that we're raising. We have naturally occurring fibers and furs, which we wear all the time, leather, fur coats. People will argue that animal agriculture is not the most efficient way to use grass, that we should not be using animals to harvest grass. People should just go ahead and eat plants, and that would cut the cow, the sheep, out of the food chain, and we would eat lower on the food chain, and there would be more calories. There's a lot of issues with that. We talked about some of those earlier. Slaughter practices are always under scrutiny. We are able to slaughter thousands of animals in this country very efficiently, and we are able to meet consumer demand. However, we need to be really careful about having downer animals during transport. Those are animals that might fall down and they can't get back up. And then we also need to make sure our harvesting methods are humane.